I'm Esther, the artist in residence for East Kent Schools Together. I'm a painter by day, but by evening I'm a hardcore crafter. Today we are going to be making these books. These books actually make really nice little gifts and are incredibly simple to make. So I'm going to show you step by step how to make them with materials that you already have in your house. To get going is 4 sheets of paper. It can be any sort of paper, it can be printer paper even, that would work perfectly. We're going to start by folding the paper in half. So I'm going to give that a really good fold and crease it with my nails, maybe go back the other way again, so you're really weakening that line. Now at this point you could go ahead and just cut along that line there, but what I really like to do is have that slightly rough look at the edges, which makes the book look kind of a little bit artisan. I don't know if I can show you here. Can you see along here? It's quite a nice little rough edge, which just makes the book look a bit posher. So you can see I'm folding the paper in half and really creating a sharp fold that I can rip along. When you've created your sharp line, rotate the paper, give it a little ease with your hands and just start to rip along that fold. You might have to pull quite hard. This is quite thick paper, so I'm having to use my muscles. So now you've got 2 bits of paper. So what we do then is rotate, do it again. So finally we've ripped up our 4 sheets of paper into 16 sheets of this long thin paper, and you can see here that I haven't got every line perfect at all. Like there's a few lumps and bumps, and even if you have some really quite big ones, it doesn't matter because when all the pages are stacked they look fine. So even if there's some like really quite big ones or some rips down, really don't worry about it. You can either leave that page out if you really don't like it or keep it in, and it's just part of the character of the book. So these are the inner leaves, and now all we have left to do is put the front and back on, and then we'll bind it together afterwards. The front and back cover, it doesn't necessarily have to be any heavy card if you don't have that around. That's nice, you can make a hardback book if you do, but if you don't, any old bits of paper will be absolutely fine. To make a softback book, you could use anything, old Easter egg boxes or cereal boxes or anything. What have I done here? I've got the music one. I've got, this one was made out of some old wrapping paper. This one I didn't have any nice paper, so I just painted some abstract patterns onto a bit of old cartridge paper, and I quite like that one. This time I've got some comic books. I think it was a Tintin one. So that is probably going to be my back because it's slightly plainer, and this one will be my front probably because it's a bit more jazzy. So I'm going to use one of my leaves, my inner leaves, and trace around that to make the back. I'm going to use a ruler just so I can get a neat line. So that's my back marked out, and I'm going to do the same for the front and get a nice position. Unlike our inner leaves that have this slightly ruckly edge that we like, the front and back cover are going to have a nice straight line. That just makes it look a little bit more smart from the outside. If you want to rip it, that's fine too. I'm going to use some scissors to cut around the lines I just drew. And here's my back sheet. Great. So I'm going to pop that on the back and that on the front. Just give them a shake down to make sure they're all level. So there we have our book with the front and the back cover on. So what we need to do now is create a little nick either side in order to wind our thread round later. So this is going to take a bit of time, so you know, put the TV on. What we need to do is measure 1 inch and just put a little mark there. And do that on both sides from the end. So along our marks there, I'm going to put a little snip, cut out a little triangle. So we need to actually do this for every sheet, I'm afraid. You could do a couple of sheets at a time. It's up to you, depends how patient you are. I'm just going to get going on that now. So I'm measuring 1 inch, doing a little mark, measuring 1 inch, doing a little mark, and cutting out my triangle. So I'm going to do 2 sheets at once here, so potentially double my speed. We'll see how that goes. Oh, that's okay. Just stack them on top of each other as you go along. Now that we have all of our inner leaves and outer leaves cut, here comes the binding part. So what we will need for this is some string or thread or wool. If you don't have any wool or string or thread, you could actually use an elastic band or anything that is long and thin and windable. I'm using some black thread here. So what we want to do, and this sometimes is easier with a partner, but if you're just on your own, so you hold it there and secure it under your thumb. And then we're just going to start to wind around, getting in all of those little V's that you created earlier. And I'm going to wind it quite tightly. If you've got thin thread, you can wind it, 6 or 7 times. If you've got some really thick twine or something, then maybe you just want to do 1 or 2 times. Now, we've got our little tail that we left there earlier. I'm going to snip that off, cut that end. And then what we're going to do is tie quite a tight double knot out the back. It's easier if you've got another person to secure that knot for you, but I haven't. So yeah, there we go. It's okay. I've got a little tail there. I'm just going to snip it off. And so there you are. That's the book at its most basic. The lovely binding. And that's not going anywhere, that's perfectly secure and ready to use as a book. So here's our completed book. I'm pretty happy with that actually, because it's got so much brightness and stuff. I don't feel like it needs anything else, but definitely feel free to jazz it up if you like. Some of the books I've done in the past, I have put a bridge on, just a contrasting bit of paper that I've just folded over there and glued on with some Pritt stick, I think. It was very easy. Done that with that one. This one has some washi tape stripes on. But also, you can cut into the inside of your books. So on this one, I've layered up different sheets with different paper, and that kind of naturally divides the pages up so you can have little segments. So this could be my food shopping section, and this could be my clothes shopping section, as if I have a clothes shopping section, but you know what I mean. It's a nice way of doing it. This one I really went to town on because it was a gift for my husband who's a musician, and so all these bits of paper make up the keyboard, which I thought was a pretty cool idea, but took forever. So the possibilities are endless there. I would love to see the finished results of anyone that's been making this along with me. Send any photos along, I'd love to see those. Please ask East Kent Schools Together any questions, and I'm really happy to answer those for you.